What's going on, everybody? Today we're going to do a quick run through on how to configure accounts payable and purchasing in Oracle Fusion. Now you can see in the background I've got a sped up version of how to upload the rapid general ledger and its structures, and at the same time I'm also updating the user to include key roles. Now I have videos out there on how to do both of those two tasks. I'll include them in the description below. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to create the GL foundation, which you already saw. We're going to update the user. We're going to configure accounts payable. We're going to configure PO. We're going to check the approvals. We're going to check the categories. We're going to configure and create a supplier, and we're going to set the preferences for the requisition for the user. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go over to user Bob, manage users, search for Bob, and we are going to update the default expenses information, which will default in when we create a requisition. Otherwise, the accounting won't run in the background. Okay, so that's done. Now let's go make Bob a procurement agent. That will allow us to actually create suppliers. So we're going to make Bob a procurement agent. And we're just going to set all these to full. And we're going to save and close that. So now let's go over to financials, payables, and we're going to manage the common options for payables and procurement. So we're going to set the liability account. And this is all just default stuff that I'm going to put in here. There should be no assumption, any real logic. I'm just using accounts that fit and comply with the required best I can. There's only like 3 or 4 expense accounts, for example, in this chart of accounts to make everything simple and easy. Okay, I'm going to copy that a couple of times and reuse it and set that to the primary balancing segment. And I'm going to save it and then save and close. We'll take a look at the invoice options. And they're all pretty much in good shape already. So don't think there's any real needs to change much here, except for putting in the defaults for those two things. But obviously there's a pile more to set up as you're doing full payables on a real project, but this will get you up and going right here. Next up, let's go over and create a location. We will need a location for setting up the inventory org and also at the site level for the supplier. So we'll set up this Ashburn location. And now that we have the location, let's go check it and make sure that it's there and all good, and close out of that. Next up, let's go over to the quick setup for inventory. I'm going to give this calendar a different name. And I have a video out there how to do this as well for inventory orgs. A very quick one, as you can see here. So we'll set up the name. There's the location for the inventory org. And select and set that to none. Submit. Now that process will run. It'll come back with an error about units of measures because they're already set up. And it's trying to reset them up. So it's fine. So now we'll go over to the configure procurement business function. And the key here is to get the inventory organization that we just created, put that in there, default the currency because it's required, and we're just going to go with all the defaults. Naturally, on a project, you'd be filling all this stuff out with defaults, but we don't need them. We'll do the same for the requisitioning business function. Again, we'll use the organization we set up. That's pretty much what we need to do. And we'll save that and close it. Let's go over and check the approvals for the requisition and also for the PO to make sure they just basically auto approve. Come back and then we'll show all, and I want to look at the supplier authorization approval. That's automatic. And then the last one is going to be a profile change, and that one is set to supplier administrator, which Bob Adams in this particular case is, because the notification will come to Bob Adams. So we'll take a quick look at the purchasing categories, and you'll see that because this is a Vision instance, it's going to be chock full of categories. We don't need to set them up. Now it's time to go set ourselves up a supplier. Go up here, manage suppliers, click on the plus button, put in the quick information, make it spend authorized, corporation, etc., etc. And now let's go over to an address, and we will add an address, a basic address, simple address, United States. And we're going to do our typical Main Street. We'll put in the zip code so that it automatically defaults the county and the city and all that good stuff. And all good. Save and close. Now let's go over and create ourselves a contact. We'll put in the standard Connie contact. And all good. We'll just assign the address and we'll save and close. And last but not least, we'll set up a site. Use the address we created. Save it first, and now we can do site assignments. We'll do auto create. And here again, we'll use the address or the location we set up. We're going to save that, and all this other information, just load that up when you're doing a regular. But this is all good. Save and close. And now let's search up our supplier, and there she is. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do is we are going to set the requisition preferences for Bob Adams. And so we do that by going over to Shop, More Tasks, and we'll choose a non-catalog item. This screen will always come up the first time if it's never been set. So we got to put in the deliver to location. You can come back to it later, but it'll always come up if you've never set it. And you also notice downstairs you can put in your favorite charge accounts, etc., etc. So that's going to do it for this one, folks. If you found the information useful, why not consider using the subscribe button like a bookmark, so you can have easy access to the information without having to search for it when you need it. I really hope you enjoyed your visit today, and I will catch you in the next one.